This next session is titled Desert Bonding, Taking Tourism to New Heights. Rooted in decades of cultural and economic synergy, this session will delve into how India and the UAE are redefining global tourism through strategic investments, world-class connectivity, and curated experiences. It will also seek to explore how deep bilateral ties are fueling tourism growth, fostering innovation in travel and hospitality, and positioning both the nations as premier gateways for global explorers. For this session, I'd like to invite on stage a very special guest, Ms. Deepika Rao, Executive Vice President, New Businesses and Hotel Openings and Corporate Communication at the Indian Hotels Company Limited, to please join us on stage and to make her presentation. Thereafter, we will follow it up with a short Q&A. Warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Fantastic. Okay, so I have a limited audience, so please, stay with me, yeah? But thank you, everybody, for having us here today. I'm joined by many of my colleagues from Indian Hotels here. And thank you specifically to the India Today group for giving us this opportunity. So I have a small presentation that I've put together. I'll do some of that, and then, of course, as she mentioned, we'll have a short conversation. So let me get started. I've looked at it in three parts. All of you are also our customers, I'm sure, and I hope each of you have stayed and visited Taj Hotels here in Dubai and, of course, in India. So we'll just talk a little bit about why tourism matters, talk about how India and UAE have partnered across this sector, and then finally, I'd like to show a little bit about Indian Hotels and how we have transformed the tourism landscape in India and, try to take this sector to newer heights, okay? So just getting started. Sorry, just let me see if this works. Second. Okay. Try. Okay, sorry, okay, good. So if you're the only speakers using a presentation, I guess we have to go through some of these glitches. Just so, I think this is really important, and I want to take a minute to talk about tourism as a sector that during COVID, we actually reduced to a total of like almost zero revenues. So this is something all of us in this sector have to be really proud about because we've so quickly bounced back, yeah? Just all of us have forgotten March 2020. It's not very much in our distant memory, but we almost had empty hotels. It's fantastic to see across the globe how this sector has bounced back, and we're looking at almost double-digit share of GDP and employment, whether you look at this information at the global level, UAE, or for India. So when you look at these figures, you understand why tourism is extremely important as a sector for both of these economies. Yeah, close to about 10% share of GDP in India and 9% of employment. So definitely a sector to take very seriously. You see, among all sectors that economic relevance is something you will find across all sectors, but I think what's really important about tourism is it also is a real big source of soft power. What do I mean by that? It's the kind of a sector that brings people together, cultural ties. I mean, that rise at the very core of what tourism is all about. How do you experience a destination? You're going to only experience a destination through its people, through its food, and through its celebrations. Whether it is in terms of also preserving culture and heritage, we are one sector that has a foot in our rich past, is also one foot in the future. We take a lot of pride, whichever part of the globe we're in. We are custodians of every culture across geographies and boundaries. This is something that personally to me is tremendous about our sector. We as a sector generate one of the largest multiplier of jobs. To put it in context for you all, every room almost generates 10 jobs. So every new room you add, you're adding 10 jobs to the economy, and this is a combination of both direct within the hotel and indirect, what you create within that ecosystem. So the interesting facet about job creation into the tourism sector is that it also addresses an element of social equity, and I'll take a minute to explain about this. I look after hotel openings too for Indian Hotels. So Northeast in India is a more recently forayed geography as far as tourism is concerned. And it actually supplies talent in the hospitality sector in India, and I'm sure in Dubai. Those of you who have, even in this hotel, I met so many colleagues through the day whose home is the Northeast, right? Now, when I say social equity, what is it that tourism is able to deliver? When we open a hotel in the Northeast, we actually are enabling reverse migration. Everybody is happy to come home and actually work closer to home. So you're actually enabling local economies and local livelihoods. So that's the beauty of our sector. We don't only just add to GDP, but as I mentioned, we build soft power for a nation. So clearly, everybody better have serious goals about tourism, and clearly both these countries do. UAE has defined goals for itself till 2031, taking up the share from what is today 12% to 15%. And India till 2047, of course, there are milestones in the middle, but 100 million tourists. Now, that's a really serious number, but that's really what India is prepping for. So the second part of what I wanted to talk about is what most of today has been about. A lot of the speakers have talked about the trade agreement that we've had and how that's really skyrocketed trade, right, between both the countries. What was hitherto 80 billion is now almost touching 100 billion, and that's an annual figure. So that's a great base on which, tourism is facilitated not just for leisure, but also what we're doing here today, right? This is a business conversation. It's a platform that's enabling multi-sectors to meet and connect. So as trade grows between nations, it's only going to increase visitation. So what we have in common is a really strong economic interdependence and cultural affinity. One of my colleagues who put this presentation together has struck like gold with this, my favorite cricketer and favorite team. I'm from Mumbai, and it's great to see that Dubai hosted this tournament for us, fairly successful. I think it's in its 14th or 15th year. When two economies have great economic interdependence and you top it up with cultural affinity, the favorite sport, Bollywood is never behind, yeah, so it is a great destination, not just for film production, but also to hold a lot of film events. I think outside of India, maybe the largest consumption of the content Bollywood makes is in this market. Also, I mean, how beautiful is this image, to see Indian festivals celebrated at this scale here. Clearly, Indians are the largest share of the diaspora that's present in UAE. So when you have these ingredients in play, you're already talking about two nations which are fairly connected very deeply, and the success of one nation is clearly going to rub off onto the other. Indian customers, I think India must be the largest source market for UAE as far as tourism goes. And let's now talk about the opportunity. I find this really interesting. The number on the top is exactly the same for both the nations, right? 200,000 branded rooms. But just look at the opportunity for India, where this is on a population base of 1.4 billion, whereas UAE is just a resident base of 10 million. So for all of UAE, this is a great opportunity in terms of capital as well, and in terms of a lot that we can collaborate on. So just three things that I put top of my mind for each of these countries. For India, clearly tourism infrastructure has to grow by leaps and bounds. As we speak, airports across India are expanding. We're adding new greenfield airports. Anybody here from the National Capital Region in India knows that we're going to open Jewar Airport maybe 2 weeks from now. In a couple of months, we'll be opening Bombay's second airport. So some of our key gateway cities are seeing expansion. Bangalore just expanded their capacity as well, and I think it's just now tipped Delhi in terms of handling the highest passenger load. But not just these key cities, we're also seeing newer airports open in our Tier 2 and Tier 3. But tourism infrastructure for India, destination development, and I think that's a leaf we can take out of Dubai for sure, and the union budget, which in February 2025 has defined 50 destinations where you just don't talk about building hotels, but you talk about the whole experience of discovery, of arrival, post-stay, as well as all your ground transportation and the facilities that we can build, and hotel accommodation. I just touched upon it, right? Clearly, that's India's largest opportunity. For UAE, how do we take tourism beyond the major hubs of Dubai and Abu Dhabi? And when I talk about Indian hotels, I'll tell you a little bit about what we are doing beyond Dubai. I believe UAE has a lot of opportunity in niche tourism segments, which is eco-tourism, and maybe a lot more even in the mid-scale and budget segment. And clearly, where is this talent going to come from for UAE as a region? So I think these are some of the focus areas for both of these nations. And truly sitting at the cusp of what is going to position Dubai already is, I think, among the globe, the top, it's the third country as far as total number of visitation, or city, sorry, that has the highest visitation. India is witnessing a significant transformation. We've broken into the fifth largest economy, very much soon heading towards third. So clearly this region is poised to become the global gateway, and that's really the opportunity for both the countries. So a little bit about Indian hotels, and to just tell you how we have tried to transform the tourism landscape and how that could be beneficial for both India as well as UAE. So the Tata Group, which is the parentage, Indian Hotels is a part of the Tata Group, and you can see we have serious presence in travel and tourism. Recently, Air India has completed its merger of 4 airlines. That's really become a significant player in the Indian skies and will also connect India to the rest of the world. Indian Hotels, that picture needs no explanation, opened in 1903, more than 121 years old, and we are the largest hospitality player in the country. Just to give you some quick facts, so we're focused and dominant in the Indian home market or Indian subcontinent, but we're also focused in international geographies to have a prominent presence. This is our scale, 380 hotel portfolio in the country today. This is our brandscape. You see, India is a heterogeneous market, so we have brands which are present across the entire spectrum, from the mid-scale to luxury, upscale as well, and some niche segments which I'll speak a little bit about as we go ahead. I wanted to pause here to talk about if the session's topic was really about tourism to newer heights, right? Belonging to the Tata Group and more than a century-old institution that IHCL is, you know, our strategy and our goals can keep changing, but it's really our purpose and values that guide us. The next few slides, I'll quickly take you all through how we've looked at, our purpose is really about pioneering responsible change, so I'll take you through each of them. Most importantly, the company has pioneered destinations. Kerala, I hope many of you would have definitely visited Kerala. What I wanted to call out really here about is it was IHCL that put Kerala on the global tourism map, and we didn't stop just at the key cities. We've gone on to actually explore the whole North, Central, and South Kerala, and across all our brands. So you have an offering in the luxury segment as well as the mid-scale segment. And just look at that footprint in Kerala alone, more than 60 plus hospitality units. And interestingly, there's a small film I'll play right after this, is that an industry needs to keep innovating. Tourism products also need to keep refreshing. So we entered homestays in a big way. The brand that we have is the Ama Stays and Trails. And this brand alone in Kerala has now close to more than 30 bungalows. So I'm just going to see, hopefully we can play this film. Just wanted to show this little glimpse into how you need to constantly innovate your tourism products and offerings. So even if you are an institution with a great legacy, we need to meet the consumer ahead of before the consumer realizes what their need is. And something you can imagine during COVID and post-COVID continues to be relevant as people look for more, more private stays instead of large resort formats. Rajasthan, another destination that Indian Hotels has put on the global tourism map. We are the largest palace operator, but we haven't stopped at palaces, and that's the point I want to say. Even in Rajasthan, we're more than 50 units, which means we're looking at the whole market opportunity. Goa, clearly this goes back to 1980s when we actually hosted, I think it was one of the international delegations then, more than 60 units here, again across brands. This is something we're very excited about, Lakshadweep. There are two islands that Indian Hotels is developing, one in Suheli and one in Kadmat. This is something that we're deeply committed to. So this is a point I wanted to make, that those of us who have been in this sector for a long time need to take a position and pioneer new destinations and keep growing this sector. The other thing I just want to briefly touch upon, one is to pioneer destinations, but also pioneering formats. So wellness, which has now really become mainstream. Now people travel not to just look at the spa as one of the reasons for a vacation, but it's actually the reason for the vacation, right? Whether it's in meditation, yoga, different forms of it. One of the earlier speakers mentioned about Ayurveda. India clearly owns this space. IHCL has developed a brand called J Wellness, more than 40 spas across the country. But you can see that people now travel just for some of these core themes like wellness. This is another very interesting consumer behavior change that we're witnessing on a concept of slow travel, where the whole idea is to actually lose yourself to find yourself. This is something that we are doing under our newest acquisition, which was in January, a brand called Tree of Life. These format of resorts are very small, not more than 30 rooms, and the whole idea is to reconnect with yourself when you're on vacation. So you can see how leisure travel is really changing. Spiritual tourism, again, something that maybe coming out of COVID, we've seen a reinforcement of people's belief and faith, whatever their belief may be. We as IHCL are present across 50 destinations in India that offer spiritual tourism. And how has this helped us create value? So I've just looked at a period from 2017. This is almost $1 billion revenue that the company did on a consolidated basis in 2025, which is doubling the levels that we were in 2017. And we look to further double that by 2030. Return on capital employed. Now, I think I was listening to some of the earlier speakers. This is an amazing feat. If you look at the number in 2025, 17+% for a sector that is both labor and capital intensive is actually something really phenomenal. You normally don't see these kind of ROC levels in hospitality. What's our growth ambition? We were 155, we more than doubled to 380 plus, and we're well on course to becoming 700. In the last fiscal year, IHCL also crossed the milestone of 1 lakh crore, which is about $12 billion in market cap. So clearly there is investor confidence. This was the second part of our purpose. I talked to you about pioneering responsible change. This is about creating value. And then, most important, shaping the future in a very responsible way. Pathya is the nomenclature that we use for our ESG Plus framework. And some of the goals that we have to 2030, all mentioned here. In the next few slides, I'll talk to you a little bit about employability. So this is something IHCL is really serious about. We've built more than, or collaborated more across 50 plus skilling centers. I just want to tell you all that this is a talent pool we're not just building out for ourselves, but it's for the industry. So it's not that anybody who passes out of these skilling centers only have to come back and work with us. This is a pool that's open to the whole industry, and I'm sure many of them will come to UAE as well. This is, doing tourism the responsible way, which is having sustainability at its core, is clearly the need of the hour. More than 40% of the energy we use in our hotels is from renewable sources. Ensuring that we don't have single-use plastic is something which is now par for course, and this continues to be a focus area for us. I spoke about this, preserving heritage. Is something we take very seriously and with a lot of pride to be custodians of India's cultural heritage. And now coming closer home, Saurabh is here. He's our area director here for the Middle East and CIS. This is our presence in Dubai, and I believe this is just the beginning. We believe just like we've grown in India with some of our existing partners, we've built now very strong relationships, and I'm sure over the next few years we will only double this. These are our 3 hotels. All of you are seated here today at the Taj Palm Jumeirah and 2 other hotels at Business Bay and the Jumeirah Lake Towers. A recent addition, when I mentioned to you all about taking tourism beyond Dubai and Abu Dhabi, just about a few months ago, we signed up with B&W developers. I understand Ankur will also be speaking with us later today. This is of Taj branded luxury residences for sale and pool back under our Taj Wellington Mews service apartments products. So Russell Khaimah will have a presence of the Taj brand. Going beyond into the region, also in Bahrain, we've signed 2 hotels under construction and 2 more in Makkah and Diriyah in Saudi Arabia. So just to finish my presentation, clearly for this region, UAE, Middle East and international, our foray will be with the Taj brand. And I think this is a great moment of pride for all of us in the room, those of us back in India, to look at Taj actually being not once, twice, thrice, but probably the 4th time being regarded as the world's strongest hotel brand. So that's really going to be the brand with which we will grow internationally. So thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Deepika. And I think it was very, very comprehensive. I was just wondering what else needs to be asked to her because she's mentioned almost everything that Taj is doing. But I'll still take 1 or 2 questions with you. Can you hear me? Yeah. So we are all in the UAE, we are all in Dubai, where you already have 3 properties that you showcased to us. I think the big question will be like, to understand what are you most excited about when it comes to India and UAE, the landscape of tourism? What are the trends that are going to be emerging from now on?
So, can you hear me? I think this is working. Okay. So, I think it's, on multi-dimensions. It's not just that there is a customer crossover. Clearly there is and there is not also just about, looking at talent. So I think talent and customer long established. India is the biggest source market. We have a large presence in Mumbai, Taj Mahal, Bombay. Every monsoons, I think half of the UAE is visiting us. I don't know who else is back here at home in July, but that's a very common sight for us. So clearly, the brand has great resonance, the Taj brand. So we very happily do host people, not just in Bombay, but some of the destinations I showed you, like Kerala, Rajasthan, and Goa. So as a customer connect, I see that happening and has been happening for many years. Talent is another key area. So IHCL runs a lot of programs. We also have our own Hospitality Management Institute in Aurangabad. We run a lot of cadre programs, and that is providing talent, as I mentioned, not just to our own brands in India, but outside. So I think we could work together in the space of talent, clearly, whether it is about, for us to send some of our talent over here for more exposure. I think those are some of the areas we could connect.
Okay. And one of the recent trends that I've witnessed is that now people travel to also experience unique experiences as well. So what is it that IHCL is really doing when you talk about some specific states like Kerala, like Northeast you're talking about? So when you're in specific destinations in India back home, what are the curations that you're doing for global travelers there that they can be excited about and really plan their vacations to probably assess or access that kind of an experience?
Sure. So, in India, we're really blessed. 7,000 plus kilometers of coastline, more than 10 mountain ranges. So whenever anybody is visiting us from a long-haul destination, they're clearly looking for an itinerary. So with IHCL, if you want to explore the Northeast, I was just speaking to somebody at lunch, you can actually land into Guwahati, which is the entry into the 7 states in the Northeast, and then we can develop an itinerary for you with the Taj brand at Darjeeling, which is in beautiful tea gardens. Then you can drive up to Gangtok, which again is at an altitude of more than 8,000 feet from mean sea level. And, further there within the area of Sikkim, there are at least 2-3 other outposts there. So the whole idea is that when you visit us or when you travel with the Taj in India, how do we get you to experience not just the geographical landscape, but clearly the culture through the food and through a lot of immersive experiences. Actually, like with the Tree of Life brand, people want to experience the village life. So how do you get that for the customer? So these are some of the things that we're doing around both these brands.
Right. Now, there were many buzzwords around tourism and hospitality. There was like last few years, we heard about staycations because COVID came in and that brought into, wanting for us to really get out of our homes, yet being staying secured. Napcations is another one. People tired in their corporate lives are just going to sleep away their vacations. That's something I wrote for Even Business Today. What's the next big trend that you foresee coming in that people would want to explore in the world of hospitality?
One clear thing that we're seeing, beyond just a theme of a holiday, but I can tell you 3 or 4 things is, one, the booking windows are really reducing. So you could be looking at a certain business on your books for May today, which could just actually double. So the booking windows are down to almost just 48 hours. So what we're seeing is people are taking frequent trips. Growing up, I remember just 2 holidays a year, right? But here what we are seeing our customers indulge in is short but frequent trips, shorter booking windows. And then the third is a combination of business and leisure. That's here to stay. I'm here for this conference, but I know what I'm doing tomorrow, which is not to do with work and hopefully get to see a bit of the destination. So combining your business and vacation time is now par for course. These are some of the 3 things that I've seen that has a significant implication on the way we see the business of hospitality. Petcations, to just add to what you mentioned, traveling with pets, because the whole social context of parents actually having a pet as opposed to a child, and then how are you going to offer them vacation time is something that's playing out as well. So in our Rama brand and Tree of Life, even our Selections brand, pets is a big part of the offering as well.
Well, just about 15 seconds remaining there for our conversation, but I would say that, your presentation was fabulous and we really got a glimpse of how, of course, such a legendary brand is rightly taking place. So what are the collaborations that you would want to do probably with UAE-specific brands? Do you think there are enough opportunities there?
Yeah, like I mentioned, once we've developed these partnerships here, we'd like to grow with each of our partners into multi-property hotels. So Bahrain, the 2 are actually with one single developer. We look forward to be able to, like we have done back in the Indian subcontinent, demonstrate performance and continue to grow with our existing partners. So we're now about 6 to 7 in this region. I hope when we come back here next year or anytime, we're able to double this.
Okay, fantastic. Well, all the very best to you. Thank you so much, Deepika. It's been fantastic to listen to you. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.